My name is Aleksandra. I've been studying media information literacy at University of Tampere in Finland for 2 years for my master's degree. And then since then I've been doing projects in media information literacy for UNESCO and also for SALTO PI. Right, so in my research, under the hood of media information literacy, we had 18 themes, 18 different themes, which would be quite tedious to depict right now, but the concepts that are connected, that have been connected to the concept of MIL for a long time are, of course, information literacy, hate speech, disinformation, cyberbullying, but also the new concepts are arriving, such as radicalization and extremism, such as community empowerment, such as advertising, because people start to realize that there is a lot more than the regular, our connection with media as consumers, reading news or, listening, surfing the social media. These are all topics that have been out there for a while, but the new ones are what we really have to be following now. Another one is interactive media, for example. We do not limit ourselves, our usage of media, just by using social media networks. We also use plenty of apps, for example, and that also influences us in a way. And as we become more addicted to media, then we have to think about the risks coming with that. So the topics are broadening, and I believe that this trend will continue. The connection between media, information literacy and sustainability can be viewed in different ways. When we think of who we are as media producers and consumers, we have to think like what our actions can entail in the future. How can that affect the situation and the atmosphere we live? I mean, social atmosphere, not only like taking on the topics of climate change and stuff. So they are becoming more and more popular in media, and since we are not only the silent viewers of what's going on, we're also producers, we are influencing that. Sustainable development goals have been on UNESCO's agenda for quite a while. So they are portraying the themes that we shall be bothered with, and we shall address those through the lens of media information literacy as well. Sustainability comes hand in hand with community empowerment, and since today societies and media, for example, youth clubs, youth groups, youth societies, they become more and more involved in social life, they can really influence what the world we live in. For example, Greta Thunberg and her school strikes for climate. I mean, what else could better represent how media can be connected to sustainability? This project was about portraying the city of Warsaw through different media, meaning through different tools, through video, through photo, and through sound. They've recorded audio, made soundscapes of the city. They've went through photo archives and used different tools to work with pictures, and then finally they also videotaped, and again they had a particular set of tools that they then kindly listed in the report, so others can adopt the practice and do it themselves. You know, these kind of documented practices are just gold, I think, for the educators of tomorrow. Sextortion is one of the hot topics on today's agenda for MIL, and it is about using or misuse of personal private images to extort information and money from people. Basically, it is a crime that people should be aware of and should know what to do if they become a victim of it. However, it's not really popular to discuss such things in some countries' backgrounds, in some countries' contexts. So this is one of the challenges actually related to the theme, that certain topics just need to be more public, and people should be talking about it more and of course acting upon it. So a good example of a state TV channel going to tackle such challenge of sextortion is a very ambitious project of Czech television, which is called the film v Sieti, or In the Network. It is still in production and going to be aired on International Women's Day next year. So the concept in a nutshell was that the hunters become hunted. Basically, what the group of the production crew, what they've done is that they took the manipulative practices of the virtual predators and turned them against them. They had a focus group of 13-year-old girls who were working with the production group under the cameras, and were also meeting with this virtual predators face-to-face online, in real time, under the supervision of the experts. So the outcomes of this project, well, we don't know yet about it, but the whole feature film is going to be aired in next year, so that's exciting. What I can think of is, since the interactive media comes very practical at the moment, I mean, there is a lot of things about augmented reality, virtual reality going on. Educators also want to introduce these topics to the students, and basically what they do is, well, the best you can learn is by doing, and that actually now sets a trend of using different tools to simulate augmented reality, or to even like produce you know, some software or some basic software, or some work in that field as well. Among of the trends related to media information literacy, I would say globalization of the resources and of the efforts. I think this is very relevant at the moment, since there are organizations that are kind of shedding the light on the practices that are being created locally by non-governmental institutions or by the private sector. So there are awards, there are contests for such practices. And since usually the initial projects are created on a very small scale, on a scale of one classroom or one school in a very particular local context, most likely in the local language. So the trend is that if those initiatives are going to be picked out for the, say, awards, or for being featured, then those should be then translated to as many languages as possible. And we already see this happening in various resource hubs for MIL educational resources, thankfully, to many efforts. Also, what else? Parents are definitely becoming more and more aware and also concerned about their children's life online, because it gets out of control. And parents usually don't like that. And hence there are more and more initiatives created just for parents to educate them what to do and how to behave in certain situations. Like, for example, if you see that your child can become or may be becoming a victim of sextortion. I mean, no parent would be ignorant to that. So, and it's not an easy situation to even talk about with your child. So there are more and more educational resources targeted just at parents to doing just that.